Oh.
Well, I'll survive. I probably can speak loud enough that you can hear me start. As I said, or I think I said, you're a very difficult audience because can't fool you. This is very, very effective for a first-time audience. In fact, it's astonishing. It'll get you around the halls every time. But those of you who know me well know that I do play about the first 4 bars of that, so I thought that'd be a good choice. You notice that the role I chose to open with is not the loudest, fastest, most whiz-bang thing you ever heard, but it was very musical. This is part of the way I feel about these pianos, is they do make music. I'm not a technician, and you all know that too, but I'd rather talk about the music and the way the pianos can make music. I like to, when I do these programs at home, by the way, I don't do this at home. My audience has to sit too close to the piano and be heard when you turn it on. So I generally come out in a long gown, it has nothing to do with the 20s, and you might say take it off to reveal the 1920s. And it's funny how when you start collecting pianos, well, we all start with 1, don't we? And we swear, well, I've got an before, I have a dual or whatever, and I'll never collect what today. We'll need with another piano. As I said, that's how we all start. We're up to 1 of each of the 3 systems now, and I think I got them mostly to disprove I'm going to alienate a lot of people right here. I don't think one system is better than another. I think perhaps one restoration could be better than another. But I think the pianos are pretty equal. And it's fun to take a rule. If you have a rule for all 3 pianos and compare. I'm not sure. Bill Dean, is he here? Bill, what did you tell people I was going to talk about? I couldn't hear you.
What's going to be happening?
At home. Well, of course, I need a 1920s lamp and a 1920s rug. I brought the costume. The lamp and the rug were a little bit beyond me. But you can do this in your home. I did it for the first time 4 years ago. Now look where I am. First of all, you start out by wanting to share what you have with others. Those people who've never heard of reproducing piano. It's no fun playing it just for yourself. And those of you who are like me who live in the sticks or the loonies or whatever you want to call them, you know this. So you gather groups. Well, I started out in a horrendous manner because the local piano teachers guild came to the house. Now, if you want to see a bunch of critics. So when I chose the role for that particular program, I thought it has to be something that's contemporary sounding. It can't be an interpretation that's considered quaint or cute or old-fashioned. And I don't believe in things being called definitive performances. Styles change. We all change. However, I do not generally use Harovsky. His style of playing is not admired today. With one exception, the dual art has a Opus 39 scherzo that is beautifully played. And I used that in the program I did at the Hemingway Museum using their Steinway dual art. The other roles that I choose, I try to pick that are, as I said, musical. Things with lots of expression, a wide range of expression, but it's also fun to do comparisons. And I'd like to show you a comparison right now, and I'm going to listen carefully because I want you to tell me your reaction to this. I mean, it's just an opinion that I want you to give me. I want to play the opening measures of this number again by this particular artist, which shall remain nameless. I'm afraid it's going to fall. Would you put your hands down? Would those who like number 2 better raise their hands? You know, I think a little bit more in favor of 1 than the fire beast when it's trying a little bit more in favor of number 1 than number 2. All right then? I shall tell you. First role was played by Olga Steve. The second role was played by Michelle Levitsky. So, don't ever trust a role artist. I mean by name. I mean, you could be surprised. I personally, personal opinion, feel that the opening of the Levitsky role is very romantic. It's low and it's sweet. It's also very much out of time as we tempo the song. If you like this, fine. Use this role. However, be prepared to accept some criticism from your audience, from your listeners, because I think the reason I use the old Steve role, I don't know, I'm always looking for obscure artists to prove a point, I guess. But, well, have you ever heard the early Arthur Rubinstein role? He plays better, well, up until recently he played better now, I think. But he himself says the roles weren't that great. By the way, if you think of a question that you'd like to ask me, please do so. I want to talk very briefly about what I'm wearing. Started with a pair of earrings. A friend, an antique dealer gave them to me. I suspect once she found out they weren't real, she decided she didn't need them. And I thought, wouldn't it be fun if, gee, the chandelier on the piano is now from the late teens, early 20s. There's a little rug underneath, it's from the 20s. The cadenza is from the 20s. The piano is from... Why didn't I be from the 20s? Well, that's before my time. And my mother, well, I won't tell you what my mother thinks. She grew up with this type of thing. But I still don't know what a flapper is. Nobody seems to know where the term came from or what it means, what it refers to. But I can say that the dress is borrowed, but it is lovely and it is original. And the earrings and the beads. Let's see here. The makeup. Was that ever fun? You'd be surprised if you could find an old magazine. I think they're called bee-stung lips. And lots of eyeshadow. And they used sugar water on their hair. Today we have hairspray, which doesn't draw flies. I tried sugar water, that's how I know. I decided you could be authentic, but don't overdo it. I haven't had a chance to test this role on this piano, but this is another one I like to play. And may I say to you that if your piano isn't up to snuff, would you lose a friendship if you ask a friend to be honest with you? You might. But if you're going to do a program, make sure you really enjoy your piano. Make sure that you can stand aside with it. You might say a critical ear and say, yes, this is doing what it's supposed to do. Or, well, maybe another couple thousand. You've been there, haven't you? A couple $1,000. I'm speaking for myself. I'm a non-technician. I'm at the mercy of rebuilders. Luckily, there are many people around. This role is, as I said, I don't know how to play on this piano. I've been told this is early Kanani. How early, I don't know, except I'm having all the time at the door. It has to do with the guides. You probably all know what that means. You can play on it. This is a Michelin role. I'll be real sure with it. If I don't like the way it's playing, I'll just take it off. I didn't have a chance to check all of this roles. This is full of dynamics. I won't tell you what it is until later. as it goes along, I guess. Anyway, the way this song ended was the way it should have started. It did speed up. And I pulled the tempo lever all the way over. So I guess that's what they do. I guess. Did I say something awful? All you technicians are going to jump right down my throat. This roll is a little long. I know you're all anxious for election. So I'd like to answer some questions. I'm sure there's some. Yeah.
Name of that roll.
Oh, I'm sorry. Everybody knew that was the staccato A2 by
Rubinstein.
not Arthur, Anton.
Anton.
A nice roll for demonstration purposes. If your piano could repeat like that. Anton. Not Arthur. No relation. So they claim. Pardon? The first roll? Oh, I'm sorry. Un sospiro. Aside. Concert Etude in D flat by Liszt. One of my students just learned that it was a treat to hear it. Do you notice one thing? And I'm sorry, I forgot to put the drawer in that story of illusion. Of course, you're used to having your illusions destroyed. But, I mean, as far as the pianists are concerned, you notice I give it my attention. I do think if you want people not to talk during the performance, if you stand there gazing, admiringly at the piano, other people will, you might say, sense your dedication. That's something to think about. You notice I didn't bring any popular rolls. Well, I forgot. In fact, I think I left one somewhere. I did bring one. On a popular roll, I like to go into a little bit of a discussion of who played it and how and that sort of thing. What I brought for you to hear, which you aren't going to, was fascinating rhythm played by Zez Conway. He is all over the piano, and the rhythms are so tricky. Typical 1920s lovely roll. I like the roll Who from Sonny. If you're a musician or you have a friend who's a musician and can help you and is willing to help you do a program, you can get them to explain that. Well, there's that long word, who, that goes on and on in Sonny. And there's this cute little, I don't know what you call it, not bridging exactly, but close to it, these dark little counter melodies, let's call them. And they run, and every time he does the long note for who, stole my heart away, he changes the counter melody, and it's nice to use it with my students to get them to listen. And by the way, the pianists are wonderful for students. Either intermediate, beginners, advanced, doesn't matter. Of course, I don't know for any of the piano teachers here who would be help them on reproducing piano, but do come in handy. Any more questions? I'm going to play one last roll. That champagne is going to wait. This roll is a little long. I'm sure you don't have any more questions. I want to answer questions. The problem is you all know all the answers. Yes. Whose piano is this? Frank Thompson, New Jersey. Is Frank Thompson here? Right back there. Well, stand up. Thank you. Pardon? Possibly Frank Thompson. Did you restore the piano?
I did the player.
You did the player. Beautiful piano. When I asked them which type of system I was going to be using, they said, I don't know. I said it didn't matter because AMICA or wealthy goes, I can bring rolls for all three. So fine, AMICA goes fine. I don't prefer AMICA, I prefer them all. It's almost like having 3 children. You can just say you like this one better than that one, of course. Do you have a question?
Molly, do you ever accompany the piano with a different piano? Use certain rolls? Did you do that with her? Yes.
I've been known to do that, yes. My own moments. Not all. This is a great one, too. If you could get a violinist or a singer, you who have done this know that those accompaniment rolls that you never know what to do with, find a use for them. You'd be surprised. Some of them say copyright Schirmer. Write to Schirmer. They will probably have the music. This is the singing part that goes with it, or the violin part. I've done it. It works. Any more questions? I'm going to play the last number. If I say Arthur Schnabel, we all know that he's an interpreter of Beethoven. I hope I'm not being too heavy, but I happen to think this role is well played from a pianistic point of view. It is rather long, but it's a rondo by Beethoven. Schnabel was a Beethoven expert. I hardly recommend the role. Anything else I want to say about it? I used when I did the demonstration for the piano teachers guild, and we have in our group, they took an expert. She was very impressed. And I figured if I could win her over, the rest of the guild would follow along. And they're all, in fact, we have a program now at my house at least once a year, and they bring their students now to hear the piano. It's just, it snowballs. It's wonderful. If you give one program, you will give more. And as I said, it doesn't matter what kind of system you have, just enjoy yourself. I'm going to play the demo. As soon as it finishes, we'll all go downstairs.